Welcome to day number 32 of the 90 Day Challenge to Grow podcast business. And if this is your first time here, just know there's a lot of things that I've discovered within the last couple of days. I took some time off to really get clear on what I was doing. Nonetheless, today we're going to talk about how I got clear and the importance behind the messaging, the packaging, and the way I'm showing up every single day. This is going to be a great live. This is going to be a great stream. This is going to be a great podcast. Reason why I'm saying that is because many times in life you have to go through different experiences, learn new lessons, and really fail on your journey so that way you can be okay with teaching what you have already learned. So welcome to Failures Knowledge Podcast, Failures Knowledge Stream, Failures Knowledge Live. I'm your host, Terrell Humphrey, and we're going to talk deep. We're talking deep with what I've discovered within the last 24 hours and how it's helping me pivot and change directions and be more clear behind everything that I'm doing. Most importantly, behind everything that I'm doing. And so I give you a recap of the last month and a couple of days. So this is my fourth attempt of trying to grow a podcast business. And the first three attempts, I was very unsuccessful. My first one, I made only $297, but I had to invest that back into the business, and I was around like $10 and some change. The next time, the second attempt, I started to grow a podcast business, making $100,000. I didn't make no money. I think I stopped at day number, I don't know. I didn't complete the full 90. And it's fast forward to my third attempt of trying to go podcast business. I stopped that at day 16 because I was doing the exact same thing I was doing my first attempt, my second attempt, and even my third attempt. My fourth attempt, which is the attempt that we are on now, is different because I understand the business that I'm growing. It's not the fact of what I was doing that was incorrect. It was how I was going about doing it. If I'm looking to work with one or day 32, and if I'm looking to work with people that's who are in person, mind you, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's very limited. Whereas if I go to different events, there's a lot of people there. Well, I don't need to speak to everybody. I just need to speak to some of the people that's there. And when I recognize the people that's there, I see the message differently, or I see the way I'm communicating differently, because I'm not just talking to one particular person. I can talk to 7 different people. Probably one would give me their business. Well, everybody probably give me their business card. But probably one would be my ideal audience that I'm looking to serve. Now, this is where it gets interesting. So I was serving entrepreneurs, still serving entrepreneurs, but not. I'm learning how to include entrepreneurs in everything I'm doing, but I'm also going towards a different route. And I recognize this today because as I recognized it, it gave me confidence that I was doing the right thing. But what if I go to and speak with 50 entrepreneurs? And as I'm talking to 50 entrepreneurs, I'm hearing their problems, hearing their struggles, and understanding what they're going through. And my biggest challenge, I even learned this from a mentor. When he said it, I didn't understand it. But as I continued to try to grow a podcast business, I started to understand. And he was like, entrepreneurs don't have the money to pay you for your service. But I'm like, what do you mean? They don't have the money to pay? Like, how come they don't have the money to pay? I think they do. Why not? And so over time, I'm trying to figure out why entrepreneurs don't have the money to pay. And what I discovered and what I learned from that is that the reason why entrepreneurs don't have money to pay is because they're a different category, or in a different category, or starting up their business. Which means by me being a startup business, by me being new and growing a podcast business, is really understanding that the money that you have is very, very limited. So even though the service that I offer can help entrepreneurs. Sometimes the entrepreneurs might not be able to afford the service. And it was confusing to me. It was really confusing to me. It was really confusing to me. And this time around, I start to understand things differently. As I'm going out to speak with different people and going to different organizations and introducing myself, I start to learn things that a lot of people are not speaking about. And what I recognize, oh, snaps. What I reckon, this supposed to be on this page. There we go. God, dog. What I recognize is that the more you grow, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more you understand. The more you understand, the more you start to see things differently. All right, so there we go. Got it right there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share my screen right quick. I'm going to share my screen. And let's just say entrepreneur is right here, right? Entrepreneur. Right underneath it, you have startup. You have what's the different categories? Hold on. You get it. Where I'm at, I'm talking about myself. Startup, entrepreneur, right? And what I started to learn is that startup, this is money right here. I'm going to circle that and I'm going to put a big old X. No money. Not a lot of money. ALOT. God dog, I forgot how to spell a lot. Not a lot of money. And what I started to recognize is that maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. And when I started to understand that maybe I am doing something wrong, but what am I doing wrong? It wasn't the fact that the audience or the entrepreneurs have limited budget because they're in the beginning phase of growing their business. It's understanding that if I want to serve people, I have to go to people who can be served. Everyone can be served, but everyone can afford to be served. And I watched this video that says sell to the people of influence, the people who's already there. Try to find a problem that you can solve, but don't solve a problem for yourself. Meaning, don't solve the problem like people around you. Solve the problem at a different level because the problem is the same. The structure is different. The experience is different. The lessons are different. But if you go to someone that has the influence, that has the experience of what I'm learning, if I go to someone that has the influence, that has the experience, but they struggle in some area of podcasting, I can position myself differently. I can come off differently. I can lead with value because value is right there, right in front of me. And so over the years, over the last half a decade, I really had to understand more about who I'm serving, how I can serve them. And with me having just limited resources, what can I do with the time that I have? Who can I serve more effectively? Who can I serve more efficiently? Why? Because now that I have a blueprint, I can continue to improve the blueprint, improve the strategy. It positions me differently when I focus on the small things, and the small things become the big things, because the big things are the things that people pay attention to. If I can't be consistent, why should anybody work with me? If I can't show up on a daily basis, why should anyone do business with me? If I don't be consistent, how can I promote the business spotlight? Many times in life is just understanding that you're not doing the wrong thing. You're just not doing the right thing at the right moment, at the right time, in the right place. But why is it so important? It's important to recognize that you have to understand that you're growing within yourself. Podcasting creates impact because of the messaging that's going out, because of the consistency that's going out, because of the amount of episodes that's being produced. Why is that important? If you're not able to be consistent, you're not going to provide value. If you're not able to be consistent, you can't help other people. If you're not able to be consistent, you don't make an impact. It's the consistency part that I was trying to figure out what the struggle was. The consistency. See, an entrepreneur, a startup entrepreneur are people who are just starting out. Just starting out. And why is that important? It's important because if you're just starting out, you don't have no experience. You don't have no experience. You don't have no lessons, no experience. Hold on. I'm going to have to write that again. You don't have no experience. Just starting out, you have no experience, no lessons, and you're learning on the go. Not that that's anything wrong. I'm not saying that. What matters is that you're able to really gain the experience over time. The challenge is, can you be consistent? The challenge is, can you show up every day? The challenge is, can you be patient? You see, I had to learn that I had to discover the business that I was in. I'm not just in the podcast business. I'm in the relationship business. I'm in the business where I have to build relationships with others, not only so they can know, like, and trust me, but they can understand the value that I bring. It's not about the value that I'm bringing. It's the consistency that people pay attention to. It's the effort that goes behind the consistency. See, a lot of people don't see the amount of work that goes into your growth. But as you're growing, you're developing. As you're developing, you're improving. As you're improving, you're making an impact. You can't make an impact if you're not willing to show up every single day. I'm learning that I have to show up every single day, even when I don't even feel like it, even when it's overwhelming, even when I get to a point when I think I'm figuring it out. I have to figure it out as I'm showing up consistently. Because the more I show up consistently, the more I build relationships. The more I build relationships, the more I create value. The more I create value, the more I start to understand who I'm serving. It's not the fact that serving everybody is the problem. It's more so identifying the person that you would like to serve. Well, shout out to Action Zone. Action Zone is a veteran business program that help you learn more about business. They for veterans, service members, and what is it called? First responders. So if you're interested in launching your business, go to actionzone.org. And when I went through the program, I learned more about the businesses I was in. At first, I thought it was social media. At first, I'm thinking everybody needs social media. Everybody needs to market themselves. Everybody needs to be online. But I didn't recognize that everyone don't have the resources to be online. Everyone don't have the education to be online. Everyone don't have the confidence to be online. So everyone needs to be online, but everyone is not going to make the attempt to get online. I had to understand, because they said if you're willing to serve everyone, you're serving no one. And I'm like, how is that possible? How can you serve no one if you're serving someone? That was the biggest challenge that I had to really face and deal with, because everyone can be nobody. Let me bring out the paper. Okay. Everyone equals no one. Everyone equals no one. But why is that important? Everyone equals no one. You see, I had to understand that I wasn't doing something wrong, okay? I had to recognize that if I want to serve everyone, I'm serving no one because I can't serve everyone. There's over 8 billion people. If I was to if I was interested in serving 8 billion people, what I'm trying to appeal to everybody. I'm trying to get everybody to like me. But in reality, some people gonna like you, some people gonna dislike you, some people gonna support you, some people not gonna support you. But if I focus on the group of people that I want to serve, eventually as I'm serving them, they start to become a part of my community, become a part of what I'm doing, and start to support me and encourage me. You see, I had to recognize that not only identifying who you would like to serve is understanding that you have to serve someone. I remember watching the movie. It was You Got Served. And in this movie, it's a dance movie, right? It was brothers battling against other people, other dance groups, and they going around the neighborhood, dancing and competing against each other. And then some people who's not from the neighborhood, they come into their hood. It was called the hood back in the day. They come into their hood. And when they came into their hood, in their territory, they tried to take over the territory. But see, what happens is that when the outside dance crew came into the neighborhood, came into the hood, it was more so they was trying to not take advantage, but stamp their authority in the hood, right? And so over time, as the dance crew who was winning a lot, once they lose to an outsider, they kind of lost themselves. They kind of lost the momentum. They kind of lost the belief within themselves. And so it took a lot of trials and tribulations for them to come together as one. There was a character in the movie You Got Served, and he was referenced Lil Saint. We're gonna do it for Lil Saint. Lil Saint was the little brother of the group. Lil Saint was the little mentee of the group. And unfortunately, he got killed in the movie. Nonetheless, it was the spark that brought them back together. You see, many times it's the spark that bring you back together. Many times in life, the outsiders gonna get you out of course, gonna get you out your direction. But what happens many times in life is that you have to find yourself again so you can get back onto course. I love that. To this day, I love that movie. And be like, because tonight, you suckers got served. 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 I digress. Why did I just share that? Because when you have a business, there's gonna be trials and tribulations and life that throws you off of your path. And as it's throwing you off of your path, there's going to be outsiders that come into your hood. There's going to be outsiders that come into your neighborhood and trying to take over what you are building. But many times in life, it's you that's taking over. It's you that's building. It's you that's being established. But you have to be okay with being established, with becoming established. Because what happens many times is that the instant gratification is not coming quick enough. And so we throw in the towel because we don't know enough. Excuse me. But it's recognizing that you have to give yourself time. And so what I recognize during this time is that if you're serving everyone, you're serving no one. Everyone does not mean, everyone does mean no one. And so to find your ideal audience, your ideal customers, and how you would like to serve them, and how I'm learning is that you have to understand the language. I'm understanding the language of the people that I would like to serve. When I was in the Marine Corps, we had different acronyms, different languages. We called the cafeteria chow. We called the restroom head. We called the bed rack, if I'm not mistaken. What I'm discovering, to serve my customers, I will have to understand the language that they speak. What do they look for when they come onto podcasts? What is the importance of podcasting? How do I stick out as I'm talking about podcasting? You see, I had to really position myself differently from all the other podcasters. Why? Because if I'm like everyone else, I'm like no one. If I'm like myself, I'm like me. I just had to learn how to be me, how to identify who I would like to serve, who I would like to help, who I can help, how I can go about helping them. To this day, I'm still discovering it, but I'm not going to stop discovering it. Just like when you're discovering yourself, you're not going to stop discovering yourself. In fact, you're going to grow more because many times you have to grow through the pain, go through the trial, grow through the experience, gain the lessons, and turn that failure into knowledge. Knowledge only becomes important when you learn how to fail at a task that you're not good at. Because if you're not good at the task that you're looking to accomplish, you're going to quit because you have to get good. And that's one thing that I discovered is that it's hard. But that doesn't mean that you can't figure it out. It's hard, but that doesn't mean you're not going to be challenged. It's hard. That doesn't mean you're not going to learn anything. Just because it challenges you a little bit, it means you're getting uncomfortable. You're learning more, you're positioning more, you're gaining the experience. It's the experience that take a long time to be developed. I had a call this morning, a great call. And as I'm speaking with the representative, I'm talking to him, and in the email, I was like, "Thank you for your service." I was like, "Thank you for your support." And as I'm speaking with her, she's talking. She's asking me questions. To be honest, I don't know the questions to ask because this is my first time doing something like this. Not necessarily speaking to someone, but speaking about, thing that's in the making right now. And so as she's talking to me, she was like, "Yeah, so what do you think about XYZ, and how do you want XYZ to be, and how many?" And I'm like, how do I said in my head, I'm like, I don't know, but how I'm communicating was like, yeah, I'm thinking about dot 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 with dot 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 at this time or this day and dot dot dot, right? But what I recognized doing this call was that I was setting myself up for my future. I didn't recognize that the call was going to turn into what it turned into, but I took the call because I was interested in learning more. The call got scheduled last week, if I'm not mistaken. And just because something is scheduled doesn't mean it's going to go through, right? What it means is that you have to really be patient. So I made a video before the call, 30 minutes before the call. Then I made another video when I thought the call wasn't going to happen. Then I made another video once the call ended. Why did I do that? Because I set expectation within myself. I actually learned this in my sales class. It's actually pretty good that I did that. I set this expectation for myself. I set the plan for myself, and I was doing and planning ahead before time. For instance, let me go ahead and share this. There we go. For instance, let me do this right quick. For instance, right? For instance, I had, what did I just say? What was I talking about? What did I just say? Oh, the call. Expectation. Okay, expectation. Expectations are so important because if I don't set expectations for myself, I can't necessarily plan ahead to accomplish what I need to do. Right? So I actually want to look up the definition of expectation. Hold on. Expectation. Expectations. Definition of that: a strong belief that something will happen or be the case in the future. I didn't even know that. A strong belief that something will happen or be the case in the future. Another one is a belief that someone will or should achieve something. That's crazy. I didn't even know that meant that. That's pretty good. I digress. So, expectation is an indicator that something's going to happen. Expectation, something will happen. And I say something because something is very, very, very vague. Why is it important? Because if you don't expect anything to happen, nothing will happen. But if you expect something to happen, something will happen. And it took me a long time to fully understand that I'm not just growing a podcast business. Hold on. Let me get this back. No, let me just get this back. Let me get this back. I'm not just growing a podcast business, okay? Podcast business. I am growing impact. Okay? I'm going to put a box behind it. I am growing impact. I am growing influence. Put a box around that. I am growing community. CLMUNINTY. Okay. I am growing community. I am growing a business. Put a box around that. I am growing a difference. I am growing change. Change into what? There we go. Change in what? Change in the podcast space where I speak about business and I break down the fundamentals of business. I keep it simple, I explain, but it's something that I enjoy speaking about. If I speak about things that I enjoy, eventually I will have people that come and follow me. I have people who come support me. I have people who's there to gain the information that I can deliver. Okay, what else are you doing? See, the difference that I'm making, and they all work together. They all work together. And the difference that I'm making is that I'm showing that it's okay to be consistent. I'm showing that it's okay to have a podcast business. I'm showing this. I'm being the example. Like I'm leading by example, right? And then, well, why is the business? What business are you building? Well, I'm building a podcast business. I'm building a business where I can not only build relationships, but I can spotlight business owners and to help them gain more exposure. I just changed it today. I'm helping leaders gain more exposure for their business. And how are you building community? Well, I'm building community by being consistent, having change, being a difference maker, understanding business, and a community aspect is really connecting the dots with different stages of leaders. Why is that important? Because if I can connect the stages, if I can connect the dots would just come back to me because I'm the curator. I'm creating the dots and I'm putting the dots together. But as I put the dots together, I start to make a difference. I start to change people's lives. I start to help others learn about business. And the community aspect, you get around like-minded people. Okay, so how are you building influence? Well, influence comes from you being consistent. Notice I keep saying consistent. We're using the word consistent. Well, influence is come from consistency because it's something that people enjoy to learn about, to talk about, and to really understand. If I can gain influence around something that I enjoy, People who's learning the same exact thing would just naturally pull to me because I'm the one that's showing up. I'm the one that's being consistent. I'm the one that's speaking about the things that I'm speaking about. The information I'm speaking about. And how does impact come from the podcast business? It take one person to be like, your message changed my life. It take one person to encourage you to go on, to encourage you to keep going on, to encourage you to show up on a daily basis. It take one person to communicate what they felt as you shared your lessons. You see, that one person changes your life because that one person becomes two people. That two people becomes four people. That four people becomes eight people. But notice, it's a multiplication. It's a multiplication. And to be honest, I think I was multiplying it even wrong. I think I was multiplying it and cutting it short. I think I was cutting it short. Okay, I think I was cutting it short. So you got 1 times 1 equals 1, right? 2 times 2 equals 4. And these are, let's just say, audience members. Let's just say audience. Let's just say audience, just to keep it simple. Then you got 3 times 3, that's 9. 4, 16. 5, that's division. 5, 25. And it goes on. Multiplication is better than addition because it's going to take a lot of addition to get to the multiplication. Whereas when you are focusing on this one multiplies your impact. This one increases your influence. This one build community. This one creates the business. This one makes the difference. This one creates the change. Excuse me. Because it's something that I always say. It starts with you. But just because it starts with you doesn't mean it's going to end with you. And now I believe that that saying very much so, because someone has to do it. Okay, someone has to be consistent. Someone has to be willing to lead by example. And when I discovered that leaders are the core demographic of people that I want to serve, because I've been leading my whole life. I just thought about this. In the Marine Corps, they teach you how to be a leader. There's a book called Extreme Ownership about leadership. John C. Maxwell talks about leadership. Coach Prime with the Colorado Buffaloes, he talks about leadership. Dominate. He got a book, Dominate and Elevate. Dominate and Elevate. I listened to the book, but guess what? As I was listening to the book, guess who's inside of the book? Not only the author, Coach Prime, but John C. Maxwell, who speaks a lot about leadership, is inside the book of a coach who's coaching college football. Oh, wait, there's different types of leaders. I didn't recognize I was serving leaders. I didn't recognize I'm helping leaders. I didn't understand that leaders was something there was some people who I naturally gravitated towards. Now, I haven't spoken with John C. Maxwell or Coach Prime, but in the future, it will happen. And I'm saying that because I know it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. I'm very patient. You see, leaders are patient. Leaders are kind. Leaders are understanding because they're willing to do anything to accomplish their goals. You see, when I became the captain of the football team, I was leading by example. When I joined the Marine Corps, I was leading by example. I didn't have a title in boot camp, but I had a title outside of boot camp. And we was at the Marine Corps school, what is called the MOS training, and I was in Missouri. And in Missouri, there's this thing called class leader. Okay, there's this terminology or this breakdown or this title that's called class leader. Let me write that down right quick. Hold on, let me write that down. Hold on. Okay, there's a title called class leader. And what this consists of, that's the body, there you go. Well, what this consists of is having a leader lead their team. Hold on. This is called team. This is called TEAM. That's not an M. That's not an M. Hold on. Let me rewrite that. Hold on. All right. So this right here is called team. And the class leader, this guy right here, or guy or woman, has to be in control. In control / lead by example. And what I did recognize was that even though I was the class leader in my MOS bootcamp training, my Motor T training, that was my job. I was leading everyone. And what I didn't recognize is that I was a natural born leader. Of course, you got to learn how to care for people, how to communicate, how to understand. But it was just naturally in me. And then as I get older, I start to understand the language behind it. But I didn't recognize those are the people that I'm serving. Those are the people that I'm helping. Yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Yes, the entrepreneur category is very broad. Nonetheless, to be a leader, you have to be willing. Hold on, let me come back to the camera. Hold on. To be a leader, you have to be willing to take risk. To be a leader, you have to be willing to fail. To be a leader, you have to take accountability for the failures that you have established. It's not the fact that the failures is not important or the failures didn't happen or the failures did happen. It's more so that once it happens, how do you handle the failure? I didn't recognize that failure is knowledge. Oh man, the failure is knowledge is more than just words. It's more than just words on a poster, words on a wall, and words on a logo. No, it's a movement to leadership. It's a driving force to leaders. Because if leaders are not willing to fail, how do they gain the knowledge to teach others to keep going? To keep going. You see, hold on. What happens as I'm going through the process, going through the journey, I just go with the motion. I seize the moment and I let the moment and opportunity come to me. In addition to that, I go outside and I seek opportunities. Leaders go outside and seek opportunities. They go finding opportunities. It's kind of like you go fishing, right? Let me bring my paper back out. Excuse me. Let me bring my paper back out. It's kind of like you go. Oh, I'm gonna have to turn this one around. Oh, there we go. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, it's kind of like you go fishing, right? So this is the pond. This is the pond. This is the leader. This is the fishing pole with the line on it. And this is the hook. And you got little fishies walking around. You got little fishies swimming around. That ain't no fish. You got little fishy spit. That ain't no fish. Anywho, that could be a tadpole. You throw the leaders go out and fish. And they got a reel. I remember when I was younger, we went fishing, and I wasn't good at it. First off, I didn't like how the fishes, like you take the fish out the water, and their spikes on their back is really sharp. I remember one time I had poked myself. I said, God, dog, why is that sharp? Then I got taught how to grab the fish. Well, you put their fins down, and you grab them. And then you take it off the hook. But then what I didn't recognize is that their feeling with like the fishes was like, they felt weird. They felt weird. You know what I mean? And when I grabbed it, I was like, okay. I wasn't as patient to sit in the water and wait for the fishes to bite on the hook. I was the one who found enjoyment of taking the fish off the hook and taking the hook off the fish. But then when my brothers, they went back out to fish, that was reeling it in, and I'll take it off, put it in the bucket. Being a leader is like fishing. You have to have patience. You have to have rods. You have to have tools to get the right bait. If you don't have the right tools, the right skills, the right information, you don't have the right bait. Why is that important? Because I remember literally being young with my grandma, and my grandma husband, and we just used to clean the fish. Had a little spoon, and we'd clean the fish like we'd scale the fish. Then we had fried catfish. But before the fish was fried, the fish had to be caught. The fish had to be put work in. The fish had to be hunted. Because if you're not hunting the fish, if you're not going out putting your fishing pole in the water, you don't have no food. Now the fishing, let me bring my paper back up. The fishing was something that was really, really, really special. Because when you fishing creates patience. Patience creates results. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because as I'm on day number 32 of Growing Up Podcast Business, I had to go out and fish for customers. Have to go out looking for customers. Have to go out and say, hey, I have this podcast business for the Business Spotlight. Do you need more exposure? I have to go out and talk and speak with them. But if they raise their hand and say, I'm interested, can I learn more? The bait that I put out to the world, that I put out to the universe, I had to go out and find the people who was interested. What happened is that I had the wrong bait. I was going for entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are not bad. But like my mentor said, entrepreneurs don't have the money to pay you for your services because a lot of them are still trying to figure it out, are still in the beginning phase of it. Whereas if you change your bait and go to a different location, right? New location. New location, same fishing pole, right? Same fishies, right? And when you go to a new location, here's where it really like started to make sense to me. If I switch my location, hold on, let me come to the screen. Hold on. If I if I switch my location and go to different places, the bait remains the same, but the language starts to change because now I have to speak their language. Whereas when I was speaking the entrepreneur's language, I'm speaking about, starting your business, growing your business, make money from your business. Well, that language is for new entrepreneurs. But what if I go to a pond full of leaders? But what if I go to a place where leaders stay? But what if I go to a place where leaders are gathered? Rigo, my brother, handyman Rigo. What's up, brother? If I go to a place where leaders like to be around, if I insert myself into the pond, I will start to get fishes that bite that bait. And the reason why I'm saying fishes is because you have to be patient to find your right customer. My fourth attempt growing a podcast business, I have to really understand that it's not the fact I was doing something wrong. Moreover, I just wasn't communicating, not necessarily communicating. My language wasn't right. Because if you're launching your hold on. Okay. If you're launching your podcast, if you need to grow your podcast, if you need to make money from your podcast, that language alone is for new entrepreneurs. And what was so confusing, but I'm like, don't they need that though? don't wait. They need to, if they want to launch, if they want to get more customers, they have to launch their podcast. Okay. When they launch it, don't they have to grow it to continue to get more customers? Okay. But when they get more customers, don't they have to learn how to make money? Oh, you're solving the wrong problem. The first problem itself to launch a podcast it's easy, but once it's set up, it's now you just got to be consistent. But then when you have your podcast, okay, what do you do from that? Well, now you got to build a routine, a schedule, and stay consistent. Okay, now when you have a routine, schedule, and stay consistent, what do you do from there? Well, you make money from your podcast. And well, how do you make money? Well, you make money from the business that you have. What if I don't have a business? I'm like, what if you don't have a business? I didn't even think about that. I don't know. I literally had somebody, Action Zone again group, and they they was like, oh, what did they say? I'm in. What was I just talking about? I'm in the podcast. Okay, yeah, I was on this call, and I got the question. So how do I make money from this podcast? Then I'm like, well, from your business. Like when people come up to your podcast, talk about your business. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, how does that help me? Talk about my business. How does that help me get more customers? So I'm like, huh? How does it help you? I don't even know. I don't even know. Have no clue. No clue. Recently today, in fact, I recognize I'm not just helping entrepreneurs gain more exposure, but what if I go to leaders who already have a business, who already have a corporation, who already has a company and people that's already around them? What if I just go to an established leader who want to build their culture, who want to build their leadership training, their leadership skills, and want to build more customers. What if I go to someone or go to leaders who are already established? They know their business, they are making money, and they're not struggling to get their business off the ground because the organization or company is already growing. I had so many epiphanies today, so many what? That's crazy. Now that it makes sense, now that I'm saying it out loud, it make a lot of sense. Why? Because I have to switch my language for leaders to understand what I'm offering and how I can help them. Whereas with entrepreneurs, it was to launch a podcast, grow your podcast, make money from your podcast. Then I changed it to helping entrepreneurs gain more exposure. Well, if they gain the exposure, what are they going to do with it? If entrepreneurs gain the exposure and I'm saying that I can give them, it's just going to be exposure. Whereas if I go to a leader who already has an organization, who already have employees, who already understand their product, if I go to them and say, hey, I can give you more exposure, they can be like, great. They got a whole team that can help them. Whereas an entrepreneur only has themselves. Let me go ahead and bring this to, let me draw this out. When I'm starting to learn, and what's starting to make a lot of sense, when I'm starting to learn, hold on. Reserve. Okay, so what I'm starting to learn is that entrepreneur, right? Let's say startup. Startup, okay? Now let's say this startup and they are, put it right here, by themselves. Okay. Now let's go to leaders. Leaders of corporations, of companies, of schools, etc. Okay? This leader has this person, that person, this person, that person, that person, these people. And we're going to call them team. And what I didn't recognize during that time, and it makes a lot of sense now, is that an entrepreneur is by themselves. Whereas a leader of a company, organization, school, etc., they have people behind them, and it's them. Hello, it's leader. It's leader plus team. Leader plus team. And when I saw that, when I recognized it, I said, "Oh, that make a lot of sense now." It make a lot of sense now. And the reason why it make a lot of sense is because the podcast business that I'm developing for the Business Spotlight is not just for entrepreneurs. Yes, entrepreneurs can come on, we can spotlight their business and help them gain more exposure. Nonetheless, I believe that leaders can benefit from the products and services that I'm offering because they have a team that can help them execute what they're purchasing. I'll be able to confirm this in the following days, following days, to be honest. Nonetheless, now that I understand this, I see things differently. Instead of entrepreneurs, I'm still going to serve entrepreneurs like I'm an entrepreneur to the core. Just like I'm a marine to the core. But I'm not just going to serve entrepreneurs. I'm going to serve leaders because I believe leaders who are in corporations, organizations, schools, etc. Because they have the money, they have the people, and them adding additional service to their existing company won't hurt them. It will really benefit them. Whereas the startup entrepreneur is going to hurt them because they don't have the time, they don't have the resources, they don't even have the fundamental information to really implement it. And then I was like, oh my goodness. I think I figured it out. I think I figured it out. There's a process that you have to go through as you are developing your business, as you're building your business, but you have to be okay with learning your business. Over the last half a decade, I've been learning the podcast business. I've been understanding what the podcast business does and how I can go about helping people, how I can go about serving people. Excuse me. God dog. I can go about helping people, serving people. And really positioning yourself differently. And I was like, oh, I got it now. I got it. Man, oh man. So that's what I wanted to go over. So for day number 32 of the 90-day challenge to grow a podcast business, I again recently changed my messaging. It was to help entrepreneurs gain more exposure through podcasting. Now I'm going to switch it up to have it say, we help leaders gain more exposure through podcasting. Keep the same concept of it, but my ideal audience, I'm pivoting just a little bit. Like I'm becoming more narrow, and it's going to help me become narrow and serve a lot more people. Because when I'm narrow, I can serve people, and I can serve people even more, even longer, even like more unexpected. Because now I'm narrowing down, but the narrow helps me expand. I can only expand if I'm able to narrow. I'm focusing on leaders. I'm focusing on podcasting. And the way I help them is through the business spotlight to help them gain more exposure. I want to keep it simple. Because if I can keep it simple, I can help leaders as much as possible. I can help leaders understand the podcasting world. I can help leaders build their culture, gain more customers, gain more team members, gain more influence. And I can also help them have more awareness for their business's brand. Some lessons you can't read in the book. I mean, college as well. Some lessons you just got to really experience. You just got to really go through it. So this is day number 32. If you enjoyed this, let me know in the comments below your biggest takeaway on serving on changing your business and how you changing your business is helping you understand who you're serving. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to read it, love to engage with it. And this has been great. This has been phenomenal. This is day number 32. Day number 33 is tomorrow. And tomorrow I'm going to be explaining the people who I'm reaching out to, where I'm going to meet these people, and why I'm going to these places to meet these leaders. My goal is to help leaders gain more exposure through podcasting. Wow. That's good. Let me know in the comments your biggest takeaway and how you are changing and pivoting for your business as well. I'll see y'all tomorrow.